Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to one more episode of Forwardpreneurs, where resilience, knowledge, and innovation meets entrepreneurship and leadership. And today I have a special guest with us today, Mr. Mohammed, and I'm going to give you a chance to introduce yourself. And first of all, thank you so much for accepting my invitation and taking the time out of your busy day and schedule to make it here and share your story. So once again, Mr. Mohammed, please introduce yourself to our audience.
First thing, it's really thank you very much for giving the opportunity to sit on this chair and get the interview and get my views into the public. Mohammed Alhawaj, the Deputy Managing Director of Hawaj Group.
Mr. Mohammed, thank you for your introduction. So I wanted to start by asking you if you could share a little bit of your background, perhaps your upbringing, or how do you got involved with the company?
Of course, I'll start like it's a family business. So we grew up in this business. Since we are small, we get into the offices, we get into our shops, look into the products, get familiar with the business atmosphere. So it's like within us. We grew in this. Suddenly you realize it's not only a job that you do, it's part of your life. And you would start realizing you understand the business more than what you get. Of course, studies is very important, but it's what you understand in business. It's your point of view into the business. It's totally different because we grew up there. We understand what's happening.
So it's something that you were exposed, as you mentioned, since you were a child.
Yes.
Does this mean like since you were a child, you were already thinking that you were going to be part of the business, or is something that when you start noticing you are already part of it?
I started noticing I'm part of it.
Yes.
I started noticing I'm part of it. It's just like step by step getting into it,
Step by step, you start getting more involved.
You're excited, like you see a small project, like I want to be part of it. I just want to experience, and you start going there and trying different roles, even from warehousing, sales. I've done it all.
Amazing. So you had the opportunity to experience the different parts of the business and then finally decided to take the role that you are taking right now.
Exactly.
What are some of the roles that you remember the most growing up as part of the business?
Mostly sales. Mostly as sales, because we used to be in the shop. We used to attend customers. I still remember when I was like in teens, we got a visitor from one of the companies. He was a great salesman, and my father told him, take Muhammad, make him a salesman. And I still remember that moment. It was just like for 2 to 3 hours, but I learned one thing is the confidence when you are with a customer, understanding your product, it's a key thing.
So that's something that you learn at such a young age. And as you mentioned, it could have been like 2, 3 hours, but it's the value that people bring to us within that time frame, because sometimes we can spend days or weeks or years with somebody and honestly, we don't learn anything, right? But then there's this type of people that we spend only a few hours and it enriches us tremendously. So you got that value.
Exactly.
Amazing. Now, when it comes to business, from my understanding, it is a family business. What are some values that you have seen through that trajectory of the company that they still there?
One thing as a family is honesty. I got a lot of customers that I want like 10 pieces of product or like the certain quantity. Like my question is, do you need that much? They're surprised. And he said, okay, get these and then come back to me if you want the others. And then they call me and tell me like, Mohammed, yeah, thank you very much. It would be an over that we got this quantity. Being honest about the quality of the product, that would make you even bring the better quality product, because at the end, when I talk to the customer, I need to be confident about the product itself. Most of these customers is like, Mohammed, I want 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, okay, would you come to see them? Like, no, I trust you. Send them to me. And it's done. So these long relationships, the trust of the customers is one of the most important things.
I love it. I love how you mentioned that you're not trying to oversell the person, but you're trying to meet their needs.
Exactly.
And that's one important point that you actually bring up, because I had seen that a lot of businesses, they don't flourish as they should, or as they have the potential to do so, because they don't build that relationship with their customers, and they don't know they don't understand the customer's needs.
Yes.
But in this case, you're able to do that and build that long-term relationship, especially from a family business point of view. Everybody, the whole legacy gets to see the customers and how they bring their families and their kids and generation after generation. So it's like both ways relationship. I'm sure your parents or your grandparents met the customers' grandparents and parents as well.
Exactly.
And now you are
Exactly.
following the same path of relationship and trust.
Yes.
What would you recommend, talking about trust and relationships, would you recommend to somebody that is starting their own business as a first generation?
First thing, the first relationship starts with the product itself. If you're confident with the product, I'm talking when I'm fully confident with the product, comparing to the market, that's going to be the key point of the connection between the customer. When you're with a customer, you're not a salesperson, you're an advisor. Advise the customer on what they need or what they want, even. Be straightforward. Sometimes, not always, which is weird. I can tell them about the flow of the product itself, to know what they expect. Again, not every product is, or not. There's no product that's,
perfect.
Perfect. There's nothing perfect,
Yes.
It all depends. Just be honest with the customer. First, be confident with the product, and then be honest with the customer.
Right. I love it how you keep mentioning to be confident about the product, but also to be honest, right? Because one thing is being confident because you know your product and you know exactly what it does or what can you do for the customer, but you also have to keep the honesty part, which is, okay, this product can do this for you, but there's some other things that you might need as well. So
Yes.
It goes hand by hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that not every business do these things. So I'm very grateful that you keep that in your family, and I'm sure that really helps the business flourish throughout the years. What would you say has been one challenge, just any challenge that you have witnessed the business go through and it has overcome it?
The biggest challenge was the COVID. COVID was the biggest challenge that all the world had. Thanks God, we done well in COVID. We have an electronics department, and at that time, people staying at home. When you sit at home, you have bigger needs for these electronics. I'm talking about TVs, I'm talking about even sometimes refrigerators or any product they need. So everybody was afraid. For me, I took a little bit a bold step of getting more products, especially the bigger sizes. And I received calls like, I need a bigger TV, because he's sitting at home.
Yes.
And he wants to enjoy
You need to accommodate.
Exactly. So we've done well in this time. It was a difficult time, but we've done well.
Okay, perfect. And that's what differentiates some businesses from others, right? When crisis strikes or when challenges come, because as business owners and life in general, things come out of nowhere, things that we do not expect, but it is how you proceed after the challenge itself. So in your case, you notice that these clients were having new needs.
Exactly.
You were ready
Again,
to meet them.
every business is different. You just see if it's a need or necessity. So is it necessity or just a luxury? What's the demand gonna be? Bold step have to be like a bold step of reducing expenses or bringing certain type of products. So if you're confident, again, confidence, and you know the market. You have to understand the market, understand the customer itself. There you can take steps without being afraid.
Amazing. What do you believe could be one of the reasons that businesses that have been in the market for a long time fail? Like when they go through after other generations, sometimes we had seen some businesses that, it's flourishing, but once somebody else takes over in the family after some generations, halas, that's it.
Of course, the market is difficult these days. It's not like before, but what I believe is forecasting. Most of them, they would forecast sales, but you can forecast everything. You can forecast expenses, you can forecast cash flow, you can forecast, if you have a proper forecasting on all these parallel attributes, and then together you can come up with the results. And these forecasts should change with the market changes, so you understand what your next step is. My next step is to bring more products, bring less products, increase expenses, reduce expenses, open a new store, or close a store. So here you will understand what you're going next. I think this part was missing.
I see. Right, because you have to keep yourself updated and try to get all the information needed in order to take decisions. As you mentioned, you took some bold decisions.
We take
but you
past
didn't work.
information, apply it into the future, and see how the future is. And try to put all these hiccups we have in the markets within what forecast we have, and see how the end result would be. End result in 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years.
So paying attention.
Everyone is forecasting sales. Everybody does this. But what about other things?
The other
Expenses,
factors.
cash flows, bank exposures, all these have to be forecasted.
Lovely. Good observation. And I agree, yes. Most businesses, when you talk to them, they're always forecasting sales.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many other factors that really take into account all of them together to make a business successful.
Yes.
What would you advise the youth that, let's say, they have a family business, but they're also interested in other careers? Like let's say in your case, growing up, you already found yourself as part of the business and you enjoy it, but I'm sure you also had other interests as well. So for those that are growing in a family business, but also wants to pursue their own dream, from your own experience, what will you tell them? Is it possible? Go for it?
Yes, it's possible, and go for it. Different sectors in a business. Don't try to go the same sector. Try to go with different sectors, something that you're interested in and has the potential. A lot of people, they get the interest and they don't check the potential in the market. If you see the potential in the market, you see the need or the want in the market, go ahead, but study it. Just make sure it's not just a one-time trend or short-time trend. If it's a trend, keep in your mind what you're going to do if this trend goes. I know people that opened a business for months, they closed. Keeping in mind they're going to close. At the end, they've done with profit. This profit, you can go with next trend. But again, it's not stable. It's something that really more fun to do. It has a higher profit, but it's not stable. Just make sure that next step is in a solid ground.
A solid ground, to do the research that is needed, and
yes,
and to also be aware of the forecast, as you mentioned, and how things can go from there.
Exactly.
Mohammed, from my understanding, aside from the family business and everything that entitles to that, I know also that you are very well known here in Bahrain because it's all your involvement in other activities. So could you share with us a little bit more about your other interests?
Yes, it started when I was in university. One of my friends came to me like, Formula One is coming to Bahrain. We can go and volunteer there too. Like, that's interesting. Of course, every kid, when boys especially, they would love cars. And Formula One is a different experience. We love cars, but we know cars as cars, like they look nice. But when we stepped in, it was a different world. It's a very interesting world. I learned a lot. It was tiring the first year. It was different. We didn't know what to expect. We had to take the initiative to make it successful, and we had a huge success. The adrenaline we got in the success made us want to do more and more and more. Since 2004, we're talking about 21 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow. So
we never expected that it's going to take this long. Being part of, I'll talk about a family. Bahrain marshals is well recognized all over the world on the success of marshalling Formula One. We have trained and organized Formula One in Bahrain, Azerbaijan, Baku, in Saudi Arabia. We are part of Abu Dhabi for sometimes. We have people that they hold high roles all over the world in motorsports. It was like we're living the dream. We're living the dream. It used to be a dream, actually. We're still living it for years and years and years. the team in Bahrain, all the marshals, they are holding a big role in making this success. I still remember the moment when I stepped inside the circuit.
Yes.
It was the first Formula One passed by, full speed. It was a shock for me. The noise was so high. Me and a friend, like we just pulled back, like, what's that?
What was that?
It was so loud.
Yes.
We know it's loud, but we never expected that.
Right.
We thought like something happened. And then, that was the adrenaline and excitement of.
That was the beginning of all.
The beginning of all. And 21 years now.
21 years.
Yes.
How do you see, because you have seen everything from the beginning, so it's a privilege to get to see how every year the events, I'm assuming, gets bigger and bigger and
Yes.
very, very well organized. How do you see F1 here in Bahrain for the next years? What do you expect, or what would you like to see?
Actually, Bahrain is a very popular destination for Formula One right now. We thank every single, from ministries to every single organization, of making the experience from landing in Bahrain until getting to the airport an excellent experience. If you realize all the reviews, people are so happy. It's very popular because it's an exciting race, easy to access, easy to leave, entertainment. So it's a full package. It's not only the race itself, it's everything.
It's everything.
Else.
And the people behind it,
yes,
I'm sure they have a lot to do with the success of the events as well. And you got to experience that at such a young age and be part of something that it's so well known here and people really enjoy, not just here, but obviously all around the world, and they come and are able to witness all this organization. What other type of community involvement do you enjoy, or do you believe people should get involved?
That's a difficult question, because all my life I've been into like motorsports and business.
Yes, because there's always different ways, right?
Like there are a lot of things to do.
Exactly.
It all about depends on the person's interest
and finding your passion. Like in your case, people would think, okay, community is not just about. People do it in different ways. In your case, you found your passion.
Yes.
You found your way. You found in motorsports, and here you are, helping build such an amazing event. So yes, I really wanted to show people that there's always a way to get involved in the community. There's always a way.
There's always a way.
Yes, because some people they go here, they do this activity, but you want it.
And Bahrain, there are a lot of activities you can get. Like. One part towards motorsports. You can participate in a race, or being part of the sporting team that organizes the race. We have motorsports, we have horse riding, we have got cycling, and they're all doing well in Bahrain.
Amazing. So for anyone that wants to volunteer or participate, there is opportunities for them to do so.
Yes.
When the time comes.
Exactly.
You see it, so you can go. No excuses to them. That's amazing. What else would you like to share in regards of how you see businesses blooming here in Bahrain in general? Anything in particular that you would like to?
There's nothing certain, but I see there's a big shift in business in Bahrain. It's a good shift. Let's say, but people should understand this shift, and they should go to where the shift is instead of staying where they are. There are going to be changes in the business of Bahrain, but it's difficult to predict them. But it's always into the better.
And that's where, as we were talking before, we're trying to get as much information as you can in order to make decisions.
Exactly.
Takes place.
Yes.
Right? That's amazing. And I know from a young age, as you mentioned, you were involved in the family business and everything. When it comes to university studies and all that, I'm sure that you also had some classmates that were entering in the business world for the first time. Do you ever share your knowledge with them?
Of course. Actually, I always ask if you need anything. Just listen from me, or let me get you small studies. I don't want to involve a lot, but at least guide them into a few things. Take it or not, that's your choice. But it's always happening. Even sometimes I receive phone calls like, I have this idea, what do you think? We sit for coffee for like 1 hour or a couple of hours, and then and from there he goes through. I'll be more than happy to be part of other people's success.
Amazing. And that's where also community takes into place, like
Yes.
mentoring others and sharing the knowledge and the experiences that you have. That's also a way to support our youth and to support other people that it's, looking for the knowledge and the experience that they don't have yet, but they're looking for. So you really help in the community in so many different
I wish I can help
ways.
more, but I have my own limitations, of course. I'll not say that I'm an advisor and expert, but I have a knowledge. I'm ready to share these knowledge.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all these insights and part of your story. What else would you like to share with our audience? Any anecdote or any advice?
See, don't hesitate on taking the next step. Don't just stay in where you are, just not understanding what's happening. I'll share a small story. I entered a location, a space. The light was not on. And I asked the first person who was sitting in the dark, why the lights are not on? And they told me, I think there's a problem with the electricity. I asked the next one, I think they're changing some bulbs, that's why it's off. I asked 4 people, I got similar answers. And then I found out the person who opened the door first forgot to click the switch. No, that's a reality. Don't stay there like this. Just try to understand. They were sitting for an hour in the dark because they did not ask why lights were off. It was just a click of a switch. Don't stay in the dark. Try just to get out of it. I'm not talking about dark as dark,
Yes.
Sometimes it's just a small step that will take you into a small question, a small word that
Can make a great difference.
Great difference.
Great observation. Thank you for sharing that, because it's true. Sometimes just by us not asking for help or asking a question, we really create all this unnecessary drama.
Exactly.
For ourselves.
And I saw the guy
The answer is
the guy with the light from the mobile phone is trying to do the right thing. You're doing all this and just you did not click the switch.
Yeah.
Just switch it on.
But it's interesting how sometimes, we need sometimes somebody to see things out of the box, right? To step in and be like, hello, what are you doing?
Yes.
There's no need.
Yes. Those are the people that when they wake up in the morning, going to work today. Those people are.
Yeah.
Other people oh, that's a new day. Let me go and see.
Mm-hmm.
This is the difference. The people that were sitting in the dark is the people that are why did I wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to make a living.
Yeah.
No, make your work environment a happy environment. Here, when you enter and you're smiling and happy, then you understand, as you said, look into everything from outside the box before getting into the box.
Yeah. It's like a whole mindset, right? Because sometimes we say, okay, let's not even create a box. Let's just let it be open.
Exactly.
I love it. And now that you mentioned that, it reminds me of how sometimes when we wake up in the morning, right? It's all about the mindset. Am I going to have a great day, or I'm just living another day? Because as humans, we all have our moments, but it's up to us how long we keep that negativity throughout the day. Because if it was somebody else that saw the light was not working, if he was really uplifted, he would have been like, okay, let me fix it or something. Not just sit there. Talking about that, for you, in your personal case, what keeps you going every day? Or what's some healthy routine that you have that no matter what, you're like, okay, let me put this aside for now and let me try something?
That's a question. As people get bored of routines. Just understand this routine is part of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's another day. I understand I'm going to sit on the same desk from 8 till 5. It's the same computer, same keyboard, and same people. No, just make it part of your life. We enjoy eating food.
Mm-hmm.
It's a routine.
Yes.
But why we don't get bored from eating food? Because we understand, and it has a flavor, it's different. Try to create your routine into the similar things. Just enjoy them.
Make it.
You're sitting in an office, put a nice picture. I love cars, so I have a lot of car models. If I get bored, I just take one of the car models and just like look at it and just check how nicely it's engineered or how nicely it's designed. And oh, that's a car. Let me search about the car like for 15, 20 minutes and learn more about how this product was created. Try to get out of the box of what you do. Is I sell water. Like, let me check what makes water great.
Mm-hmm.
So all these small things in life, you understand. Go through your day, just smile.
Finding something that keeps a spark in your curiosity. And
when you start doing it, it's become automatically part of your day.
Exactly. And I like it how when I ask you, you thought about it a little bit because it's already part of you.
Exactly.
So sometimes, that happens to me a lot. Sometimes when things are already within us, we're like, kind of like automatic. How did I really do that? Because it's already part of us. We just wake up and we're like, okay, I'm going to have a good day. And if I'm not having a good day, I'm going to make it the best of my abilities to be a good day.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like if you have to be in a place, you make the best out of it. You decorate it the way you want, or you put things around yourself that you enjoy.
If it never works, it means you're in a wrong place,
like
honestly.
Mm.
If it never works, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah. That's when you have to self-analyze yourself and make decisions and find yourself
Yes.
a new place to be. But otherwise, there's always a way. Well, Mohammed, thank you so much for sharing your story and for giving us all those insights and for being so genuine in our conversation. I love it how we just flow with what's coming into our minds and from our hearts, because sometimes this is what people need. People need to listen to real conversations and to know that we're all coming from different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, it's all about the mindset that we decide to put ourselves on, and don't stay in the dark if you don't have to, right?
Exactly.
And if you are in the dark, we can always find a way to
find that switch, which I talked about,
yes.
But a new where that switch is.
Exactly. You never know who that switch might be. Thank you for being the switch to those people. And I'm sure you are the switch in many people's life with all the amazing things that you do with F1, and also for keeping your family business legacy with such an honesty and carrying with so much pride. And I'm sure that here in the Kingdom of Bahrain, everyone is very grateful to have such an honest family trajectory in carrying the business. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. At least I have some of my thoughts to people. Hopefully it's helpful.
Yes, I'm sure it will be, and I'm sure people would appreciate listening to our interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.